The big dog is coming back, at least in name. The hit video game publisher Acclaim has been rebooted for 2025. We'll talk about what they have to say about exploring some of their classic IP.
And it's been another big week for game announcements, especially if you're into Lovecraftian horror and skateboarding. Not together, but, you know. We'll get into it right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest things that happened in the video game industry. You can find us on YouTube and podcast services everywhere. My name is E-Rock the Red. As always, I'm joined by this man right here, Mr. Full Clip. What's going on, dude? How are you?
What's up? Doing pretty good. Yeah, a little follow-up on the teaser at the end of last episode. I went and did it. I got the PlayStation 5 so I can be ready for GTA 6 when it comes out. I'm not paying scalper prices. I'm not running all over the tri-state area looking for one.
I can't believe you were holding out on me. You were saving it for my reaction on the show.
Maybe I forgot a little bit.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Did you get a bundle?
I did not. Walmart was sold out. Ours was going under a weird remodel, so we went to GameStop, and I was looking for the Pro, because I figure if I'm in this for $500, I might as well be in it for $700. For the GTA 6 experience. And dude, a little bit of future-proofing and the 2 terabytes of storage. That's one of the biggest parts. I know an extra terabyte, is not worth $200, but to get it baked in and get the rest of the Pro 2 and be a little more future-proofed, I thought it was worth it. So that's what I went with.
Absolutely. Yeah, I installed one in mine, and I think I paid another, I don't know what it was at the time, $70 for the another hard drive. So, I mean, right there, you take that off the price, and it's not even that much more. So that's huge, dude. I'm super excited for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm still learning.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a console boy now.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been since the PlayStation 4, so now...
Yeah, right, dude. It's been a while.
But this is my first experience with the new generation of consoles.
Yeah. Did you get any games with it?
I just had some stuff that's carrying over. So, like No Man's Sky, you get the... I'm pretty sure it's a free PS5. But the one that I started playing was... And it took me 3 days to get this downloaded, because I went for the PS4 version first, then had to delete that, realizing the PS5 is like a different download. But Cyberpunk 2077...
and they're usually smaller, too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's what I got into.
It's a little bit smaller. Nice, very cool. Yeah, you did say you were playing Cyberpunk. I didn't. I just assumed back on the PC.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's exciting. How's it look on there?
Pretty good. I mean, I can't tell a huge difference between my PC's performance and the performance of PS5 Pro, at least on this game. And, when I was playing on PC, because it was my second time around, I got straight into mods, and I couldn't tell you what half the mods I installed at this point are. There could have been, some textural things, lighting things that made it look a little bit better on PC.
Gotcha. Very cool. That's super exciting, dude. It's super exciting. Yeah, I can't believe you're finally back in the console world.
Yeah.
Fuck those PC users.
No.
Hit the road.
No, well, now the big thing is I have to decide, what I'm going to do about PS Plus. I mean, I guess I don't really have to worry about it, but I've got a big backlog of games that I had claimed over the years on PS4, and I think a lot of those should still work on PS5.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I would say my... opinion, go check out CD keys. You could usually get a discounted just annual thing there for maybe 20% off of what they're asking. That's what I usually do. And then every once in a while it'll go on sale, but it seems like it's very... I think it was on sale recently, maybe 20% off. So you missed it. But yeah, it's I mean, I'm online, playing online all the time, so I can't not have the PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Just for the games. The games are whatever. We talked about it last week how the Game Pass I think is such a better service as far as like getting those games, but PlayStation Plus, you gotta have it if you want to play online, and it's they really you're really stuck paying for it. So now you got it. Now the problem is you got to get like a giant like TV that supports the 120.
Sure.
Yeah, dude, you got to get the 8K. So it's a whole. You're stuck now, dude. You're stuck. Very cool. Speaking of PlayStation Plus, I played Dragon Age: The Veilguard, which is the newest game from PlayStation Plus this month, and people are so down on it, and I was like, I don't know, it looks fun. It's fun as fuck, man. It's such a fun game. I'm really enjoying it. It's such a throwback to like an earlier, more simple time. It's very linear. I like that. I don't want to be pulled off in 8,000 directions doing side quests. Just tell me where to go, and it's always got that little arrow on the screen saying go this way, and I'm like, oh yeah, just dumb it down for me. Just hold my hand, and then like the powers are real fun to play with. Like I'm playing a mage character just so I could experience the powers, and like I could freeze enemies and like launch bolts and stuff at them, dude. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm only maybe like 3 hours in, but it is exactly what I was looking for in a game. So I think going into it also with pretty low expectations was helpful, because I'm like, this game's great. So I'm actually I prefer this to Avowed even. Like Avowed was fine, but this is just, I don't know, it's just perfect for what I'm looking for at the moment. Something that's not this large open world that I could get lost in. I just want to like go through, and the story is just kind of meh. It's fine. It's enough of a story that I'm intrigued by it, but like, Dragon Age is always about making your dialogue choices, and the choices are just they're like phoned in. There's nothing really like, it's either, the more aggressive tone or the less aggressive tone. And that's like it. So it is what it is. But I'm having a blast.
So what do you think people's main problem with it is? Is it too simple or something? And is the negativity more like on the critics or the users?
Critically, it did well. I'm remembering it, not amazing, but it was at the time in like a couple Game of the Year talk considerations. So it wasn't, it wasn't by any means a bad game, but I know, a lot of people that played it, you look at it on, Steam or whatever, and it's, I don't know. I think it's the writing. I think it's the simplicity of it. I think everything that I like about it is what people dislike about it. It's too linear, and there's not enough choices. So, but right now, that's exactly what I want. I just want to get through a game and, without being sidetracked with everything. That one has been good. Oh, and I did I got a review copy for a new Metroidvania that I was really excited. It came out on March 6th. It's called Morkull Ragast's Rage. And it's really interesting. Also, we've talked about it before. I'm drawn into all the Metroidvanias now. This is a new favorite of mine. And this one, it's got like a Hollow Knight-ish vibe. So I was like, okay, let me check it out. Any comparisons to Hollow Knight, though, end there. It's really... Hollow Knight is like the premiere. That's the epitome of these games as far as precision platforming and story and exploration. This one, it's just meh regarding all those things. The one cool thing that it has is that it's the character. It's like he's like a bad guy, and he's trying to escape from this cell he's in. But it's a fourth wall. He talks to you as he knows he's in a game, and you are the player, and you have to get him out. So that is pretty cool. Basically, yes, yeah. I maybe, I don't know. I'm not all the way through it, but I'm having fun. It's all hand drawn, so it looks really cool. It's in addition to it being like a Metroidvania, it's got a lot of precision platforming in it. So there are points where it is tough, man, and and it's, I don't know, it's not as precise as I would like it to be. So it kind of like, I have some issues with that. But it's a good game. I'm having fun. It's the Metroidvania of the week, I'd say. because there's always one that's coming out. And this one, it's keeping my attention when I'm into that genre, and it's fine. I do like how it talks to you as the player, teaching you how to play the game and what you need to do and that sort of thing. So it's fun, but I do think it's just not a top tier game in the genre. So I'll keep playing it though. And I think anybody that is a fan of Metroidvanias would appreciate it for what it is. It doesn't, it adds to the genre by using everything else. That it's nothing new, but that fourth wall thing, it's fun.
I got one more to add.
All right,
there.
Hit me.
Almost forgot about this, but while I was waiting for Cyberpunk to download for 3 days, I got into that Astrobot's Playroom, I guess, the one that like comes bundled on the PS5. Yeah, and I wanted to ask a little bit about like, what's the difference between that and the full release Astrobot game that just came out?
So Astrobot is just more. It's just
More
bigger. It's much, much bigger. It's like 10 times bigger. It's just like a full-fledged game. Whereas, I mean, like Astro's Playroom, I think my son has like 80 some hours in it, and it's not a huge game, but it's got enough. There's a lot there. It's a super fun game to 100% if you're into like collectathons.
Yeah.
The platforming, it's great platforming. It's really tight on both of them. Even more so on Astrobot, the full game, and they add, like that game adds like a ton of content to it, like all these different upgrades and stuff like that. So if you find that you are having fun playing the Astro's Playroom, definitely, dude, get Astrobot because they're both great games. Astrobot is just like that game that comes with it, like, but perfected. They take it and they're just like, how can we make this perfect? And they do.
Does it still get into like the PlayStation history stuff? Because this seems all like, it is a technical showcase, obviously, but you're collecting like the PlayStation paraphernalia the whole time. Yeah,
you'll be a Sony fanboy by the time you're done, dude. But it's still like in that one, one of the main characters is the computer system of the PlayStation. It's like, and that it does carry over, and as much so as like all the the different bots you got to find, they're all PlayStation game related. So it's not as like, you don't have a big room of all the PlayStation paraphernalia and accessories in the new one. But it does still take, it has a hand in that. More PlayStation 5 related overall. But yeah, it's fun. Like, what do you think of the gameplay with the DualSense controller and stuff like that? It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
It is. And there's a lot of gimmicky stuff that you get to do in there, like blowing into the microphone to wisp away like wind. You've created wind in the game. And my only thought was like, but they're never going to use this in a game. So it would have to be like a PlayStation first-party title, because you're not going to have the hardware to do that on anything else. And then, we're very, very limited in those, I think. But the fact that you got like the full-on release for Astrobot, maybe they use it in there a little bit.
Yeah, I don't remember if the blowing is a thing in there. We actually shut the blowing off as a feature on it, just because, like, I don't remember why, but it was just, I don't know if it was annoying, but you could shut it off to do those pinwheels. And, but the rest of it, the haptics in the thing, like when it's raining, I still remember in the Playroom, the first time I'm in the world where it's raining and you feel the rain, like each individual drop, like hitting you, you feel it through the controller, and you hear it when it gets louder. It turns into like a heavier rain, and like, or even when you have your umbrella up versus when you don't, and it's like you hear the tink 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 tink, and it's like, it's crazy the sounds that come through the controller and the way that the haptics feel. It blew me away, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, that is pretty cool in the Astrobot, where they kind of like perfect it to show you what this is capable of. And then in Cyberpunk, it does some things like that. Like when your phone is ringing, you're hearing it on your controller and things like that, but then the audio is on screen. It's kind of messing with me. The like forced feedback triggers, is that what they're called? Where, I mean, it works like...
Dude, it's weird.
Yeah. I think I would have to disable that if I were to go back to playing Call of Duty on this. because I don't really want the added like time and pressure that I have to put down to pull the trigger. I just kind of want it to happen, sleek action.
Yeah.
In Cyberpunk, it's a single player thing, so I'm not really that worried about it. I'm just trying to get used to it. But like even with driving cars and things like that, it's trying to give you that feeling of like, well, you're pushing the accelerator, you're waiting, it's going to ease up a little bit as soon as the car switches gears. And I do like that. I think that'd be cool in like a dedicated racing game or Need for Speed or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. Yeah, I couldn't believe when the first time I'm using the controller and I go to pull the trigger on like a gun or whatever, and it doesn't press. You have to really like boom, like pull it. And then I'm like, it's so weird that that's just a feature that they add specifically for that, and how it feels physical. You know, it feels like there's actually a barrier there, and it's not just something that is added in. Like, yeah, it's very impressive. I think that's probably one of the best controllers I've ever used. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, get Astrobot. It's a no-brainer. All right, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get things moving. Let's talk about our new releases from last week. All right, first up, we had 2 Point Museum come out on March 4th on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series S and X. This is like one of those simulator, like tycoon games where you curate and manage museums. Where you got that like top-down view. You gotta you keep your employees happy, keep the patrons happy. This one is you got a history museum, aquarium, supernatural museum, science museum, and space. There over 350 decorations, a ton of different exhibits. This one's pretty cool. I know a few people that were really excited for this one because they love like curating things, and just the idea of like a museum game is it's new. It's pretty cool. We've always had the zoo, the theme park, you know, now we got the museum. So, yeah. Are you into these games?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I played like Roller Coaster Tycoon and games like that back in the day in the sim games. You actually gave me at one point a key for 2 Point Campus, which is like the college campus simulator version of this. I never got to try it out, but I'm always tempted by these games to get in there.
Yeah, I know. Like 2 Point, they're like the ones that are doing it the best now. Everybody loves their versions of the games, and this one is no different. This one's got an 84 on Open Critic, and you know, for one of these games to score that high, like it's crazy. Because usually it's just like, all right, we've got all the game elements. Let's just throw them in there, and usually it's just kind of like this could be a mobile game. You know, but this one it just has so much more to offer, where it feels like a really fleshed out game that you could sink a lot of hours into it. So that's pretty cool that they're still making these and still doing them as good as they are. And then after that, we got Split Fiction. Came out March 6th on PC, PS5, Xbox S, and X. This is the latest game from Hazelight, the next co-op adventure from them. They did No Way Out, and then It Takes Two, and now this one. This one seems right up my alley, and I'm very excited to get it, although my backlog is very huge, so I'm going to wait just a little bit. But this one's sci-fi and fantasy mixed together. The premise is that you got a sci-fi writer and a fantasy writer who are trapped in this weird simulation thing together, so there's bits of both. There's dragons and robots and sand sharks and cyber trucks probably. But you could do it couch co-op, which they do a great job of the couch co-op, or you can play it online with a friend, and they give you a friend pass. If you buy the game, you get a copy of the game to send to your friend, which is really cool. They're like the only ones doing that. I don't know who else is doing that. So I'm super excited to get in this one. Right now it's at a 90 on Open Critic. It is in the running for Game of the Year already, we're talking, and it's just supposed to be more really well-made, fun games. So, I'm excited.
Yeah. You think we'll be talking about this for Game of the Year at the end?
Dude, it's early, but from everything I'm hearing about it, yes. It Takes Two won Game of the Year, the year that came out.
Yeah.
From a lot of places, so it's definitely possible that Joseph Ferris could be right back up on that stage being outrageous yet again. I'm actually playing It Takes Two now again for the second time, but I'm playing it with my son, who's doing a great job at it. At first I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm going to end up just like screaming at him and it's going to be bad. But no, he's good. He's usually screaming at me. But yeah, so I told him, I said, when we finish this one, maybe Split Fiction will be on sale or something by then, and we could grab that because, I mean, he's super into dragons and ninjas and stuff like that, and it's all in there. So yeah. You ever play these? I know you and your wife sometimes game. You ever get into any of those games, the couch co-op adventure games?
I can't really think of any particular. There's one like I'm sort of remembering like Limbo, but a 2-player version of that. And I know there's one called like Brothers, where you play as the two brothers, but they tell you at the beginning that the game was only designed to be played by one person for the best experience. Something weird like that. So we try some. It doesn't always stick. Sometimes it leads to bad arguments, but I'm open to trying out It Takes Two since it was such a big award winner a few years ago.
It's so fun.
And then this looks pretty good too.
It's not as frustrating. It Takes Two, like they give you pretty much equal abilities, so that like you're always having to like work together, do something, and it's not as frustrating. If you like mess up, then you messed up. It's like it's nothing where you're like, why are you keep like it's not like you ever play like Overcooked or anything like that where like
perfect example.
Those games, awful. But this is more like you're working together to get to a place. So I love these games, and I'm so happy that he just keeps making them. All right, and then Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Gate Rune, and Dunnan Unification Wars. That is the full title of the game. Came out March 6th on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, XS, and Nintendo Switch. This is, these are classic JRPGs from the 90s that have been basically remastered. They're, the Konami JRPGs that everybody fell in love with back then. I know they came out with a remastered version of these specific games on the PSP sometime in the 2000s, but now this is like that was more of a port. This is just a remaster. The visuals, audio, like everything is just revamped. There's quality of life improvements where you could fast forward through battles, change the difficulty. It's really like if you want to play these games, this is the way to play them. Other than having the system that they were initially released on, you really haven't had an opportunity to play these. So if you were a fan of the Suikoden series, I think I'm pronouncing that correct. I don't know. I'm going to have some JRPG nerds yelling at me. Like one of my best friends is one of them. I'm sure he'll tell me it's pronounced this. But yeah, this is it. So get in there and play the HD remastered Gate Rune and Dunnan Unification Wars. They should shorten that, I think.
Yeah, pretty bad when you have to take a breath in the middle of the title.
And then last up, Sugardew Island. That's a short and specific title. Came out March 7th on PC, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. This is your classic cozy farming game. You got animals, you got crops, you got farming. And that's pretty much all there is. From what I'm reading, this one is so much emphasis on the cozy, no pressure gaming that like there is not much else. There's just farming, and then there's like a little like a shop that you could sell your stuff in, but you can't. It's not like a you don't put you just stand there and like people come and pay money and stuff. So right now this one's got a 58 on OpenCritic, and it's got a 60% on Steam. So this I'm considering a big failure in the cozy verse, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one? I know your family over there get into these Harvest Moon style games.
Yeah, and it's a shame. These days it's par for the course when you see one of these titles that looks like, it's not quite Stardew Valley, but it's Sugardew Island. You're in for somebody trying to cash in on the name value. And it seems like that's kind of what this is. I was reading some of those mixed reviews on Steam, and for the most part, all the people who had the negative things to say, there's just not enough here. There's not enough meat on the bone to make it worth it.
Mhm.
I even saw somebody say that they spent like $50 on early access backing it on Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be kind of pissed off if I got into this, and if the trailers really promised a lot more than they gave, I'd be pissed off. If not, if they never made that promise, then I guess it's on me for being a fool.
Right. Yeah. It does. I mean, it looks cute. It looks cozy. But yeah, it's just in a world where there's so many of these games, you really have to deliver. Like this one doesn't even have fishing. What kind of cozy farming game doesn't even have fishing? That's in every game now.
Yeah, certain things are taken for granted for sure, and they just need to be in there if you're going to make one of these kind of clones.
There's fishing, like JRPGs at fishing. The most recent NASCAR game, fishing. No, I don't know about that, but probably. All right, and that is it for this week's new releases. A bunch of like indie games came out this week. This was a tough week for me to like control my spending. Like I was good. I didn't buy anything, but there was a lot of other games that I really wanted. And one I want to just quick mention. What was it called? Frag Punk. I've heard of that. It's a new free to play shooter. Came out on March 6th. I was initially going to include that, but they had to push back the console release. There was issues with both the Xbox and PlayStation 5 versions. So it's out on PC. It's free to play. It looks awesome. You use cards to have abilities. But we'll talk about that when the console release does come out, because that's when I'll actually get some hands-on time with it. But yeah, man, lots of great games. There was a game where like you're like a doctor and you have to like take care of like weird monsters. I was like, there's so many strange random games that came out this week. But Sugardew Island we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's get to our news of the week. All right, to kick things off, as we do at the start of every month, every new month, we talk about the Humble Choice offerings for the month. So this month, for March, the offerings are Pacific Drive, Homeworld 3, Gravity Circuit, Sir Whoop-Ass, Immortal Death, Racine, Cavern of Dreams, and then on Origin, Wild Hearts and Tales of Kenzera Zao. And specifically for those two things I just mentioned at the end, I did not get this. So I play my games through the Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting any weird loaders on there or whatever. And all of a sudden you're going to start offering. Both of these games are available on Steam. I can see if it was one thing they're not available on Steam. They're both available on Steam, and you're going to make me go through this other service to get them. That's a no for me. That's a no, brother.
Ooh,
I'm out.
taking a hard stance.
Yeah, I can't deal with that.
I don't know how they make their deals to get like really good deals to put these in the bundles, but I'm assuming maybe Origin's trying to pump their numbers up a little bit, get people to come over there, so offering them good deals on this. I don't know. On PC, I'm not too picky about where the game launches. I do have Origin for, I don't even remember what, but something that I was playing on there at one point. Wild Hearts, that game, it's like a Monster Hunter-like or Dauntless-like, and especially with Dauntless as a free-to-play shutting down or whatever the hell's going on over there. It's appealing. I've not canceled yet on this month. I'm really thinking about it because the other one that grabs my attention is Pacific Drive. We talked about that a lot in the lead up to it coming out. I don't even know how you describe it. You're kind of driving around an old station wagon, looks almost like the Ghostbusters car, and you're putting slight upgrades on it while all this paranormal activity's happening out there. Return to your base and do the next round of upgrades. That speaks my language.
Yeah.
I might have to take $1 off this month by telling them I don't want it and then telling them I want it. But
that's the way to roll.
Yeah, I
feel like a lot of people are going to do that this month.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on this month just yet.
When I first saw Pacific Drive has been like on my wish list since it came out. I almost bought it a couple times during some sales, and I've been putting it off because I think it's a game that I want to play on my PS5. So I've just been waiting, and then I saw it was on here, and I was like, yes. And then as I looked further, and I was like, no. I was really disappointed. So, it's one that I might look to try to, trade for through, the subreddits. But yeah, I am. The rest of it, like Homeworld, I've never been into that series, but Tales of Kanzera Zhao, that's another one that's on my wish list. I've been waiting to check that out. So, but yeah, it's not a bad month. I just wish they were all Steam keys, and I absolutely would have stayed subscribed.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I also don't know how the origin keys work, so I'm kind of wondering: are you able to take those to that forum? And if say you get a month of this and you end up with an origin key, if you'd be able to trade that off for something, some roundabout way, end up with Wild Hearts on Steam from that.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a possibility. The problem is that just nobody wants them. Everybody wants Steam specifically. Even with Epic, like there was a game. We talked about it last week. That Blades of Fire, I think, is I think it's that one. I don't know. There's one of them's an Epic exclusive coming out, and and so many people are shitting on it because that's like, oh no thanks. It's like it's weird. Everybody wants their Steam keys. All right, let's move on to the big news. If you were a gamer in the 90s, specifically like a console gamer, this is some big news for you. Acclaim, the publisher of so many amazing games back then, is making a comeback. In what way? I don't know, but what? Let's list some games. Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam.
Oh yeah.
The lot of wrestling games, the WWE games. Oh, Turok.
Yes, a ton of N64 games, all 3 South Park games or so that were on there.
The South Park games. Yeah, the first-person South Park games. Those were a blast.
There's an obscure one that just came up on the show a couple weeks ago. You said you played it, though. Shadow Man?
Shadow Man, yes. Yeah. That was based on another comic book. Yeah, dude. It was a great publisher back then. They ended up going bankrupt and closed in 2004, but now they're back. So they're I don't know in what fashion. So basically they said, so it's a team of veterans come together to bring them back. And the announcement, according to the announcement, then they're going to be focusing on supporting new indie games and original IP. And there are plans to resurrect and revitalize classic franchises, but we don't know what. And to that point, all the big ones, all the big games that they had are now owned. They sold off all the rights. Like NBA Jam is on EA. Turok, we just saw a new Turok game being announced. That's on Universal. So I don't know what their plans are. South Park is by Square or whatever. So yeah, I don't know what they're planning on doing.
I really don't know either. It's going to come down to what classic IP is left under their control, and I don't know. There's probably not much.
Yeah, one thing that is possible. So, like I said, they had a bunch of like WWE, WWF games, ECW. One of the people spearheading this revitalization is wrestler Jeff Jarrett. So maybe they could be making a new wrestling game, which I would be okay with that. One of those classics.
Yeah, take it back to one of those like N64 WCW titles.
Yeah,
that's what I'd love.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they did with the latest AEW game, Fight Forever. But it wasn't fully like arcade. It was way more arcadey. But they could even like take it back even further, go super retro, and just see. But basically, they said they're just looking to start like with a bunch of small indie games to try to like get as much revenue as possible, and then hopefully build more games. So we'll see. From everything they've said during this announcement, that they should be churning out games real soon. So I don't know what they're going to be, but I'm excited to see that symbol pop up on the bottom of the game.
Oh yeah, man, it's iconic to me just thinking about, because the 2 games I played the most growing up, Super Mario Brothers World on Super Nintendo and NBA Jam. That was the other big one.
Yeah.
And my uncle's Super Nintendo, every holiday, everything, all my cousins came over and we're all playing NBA Jam. So it's like iconic,
Yeah.
just that popping up, and then the Iguana Entertainment logo,
Right.
and then you get that intro.
Yes. Yeah, for me, I like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, like those games were like, I played those so much when I was younger. And NBA Jam. Yeah, it was like Acclaim was a big part of all of that. So yeah, hopefully some good things come out of there. All right, next studio news. We got a new studio. I mean, kind of new. It used to be called Video Games Deluxe, and now it's called Rockstar Australia, because the folks over there at Rockstar have purchased the studio, and it's in Australia. So that's why it's called that. Smart
Yep.
branding.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they do it with like Rockstar Toronto, Rockstar London.
Right.
And
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, they Video Games Deluxe they've been working with Rockstar for many, many years. They worked on the re-releases of LA Noire, the VR case files, and then the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition. What do you think they're gonna be doing with the Rockstar stuff? Anything?
I'm really
Gotta
not
be
sure.
just more GTA 6, right?
Right. It seems like Rockstar has, if we're talking about the overall parent company, Take-Two, and all the things under their umbrella, they're into a lot of different stuff. But Rockstar specifically seems like they only work on Red Dead Redemption and GTA. And I think, did we hear at one point a couple years ago that they had like a new IP with a different setting? Maybe I'm making this up, but it seems like they were talking about that, like separate from Red Dead and GTA. But it seems like all they work on. I don't know. The way they abandoned Red Dead Redemption 2 and the way that the story line has to go for another in that series, I don't know that the next game is going to be Red Dead, so they could be working on that. Or GTA 6 and GTA 6 Online specifically, maybe just such a massive project that they're going to need all hands on deck working on that.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Like as we're getting closer to the hopeful release of it, and maybe they're struggling, they're like, shit, we need more hands on this, let's get this moving, let's buy this this company and just bring them in, that way they could focus on just getting GTA 6 done, or whatever its whole ecosystem is going to be, because there's so much that's going to go into this. And I read another article saying that people are speculating it's going to be $100 game. Which is, I don't know. It's weird that this has been talked about a lot, enough where it's got me wondering if it's true. So
I don't know. Is it worth $100 to you? You think? I mean, this would be your first entry into the Grand Theft Auto universe.
No.
But
I am a patient gamer. I am a cheapskate gamer.
Yeah.
I will wait for sales on everything, because I don't know, but this, dude, I want to be, like we talk about every time, right. I want to be there. I want to be talking about it with you, about what this game is and what the experiences are. And so maybe, I don't know, man. Like it really is going to depend on what it offers. Like, because I've definitely bought deluxe versions of games for close to that, $80 maybe, to get like the season pass and like all this extra stuff. So I'm not far off, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, so when you think about it, there have been plenty of $100 releases. You just get a couple added things. You get an RC car with your Call of Duty game or something, or a refrigerator or something. That happens. If the game lives up to the hype and it's everything we hope it is, and they don't let us down, I think a $100 price tag is perfectly worth it, because this game will be the game for a decade, just like GTA 5.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't want to pay $100 and then suddenly, because we've all been willing to pay $100 for this, then every schmo thinks that their next failure is worth $100, because that's going to guarantee a failure.
Yeah. There's a few few companies that could do this, and I think this is the one. Like, you're not releasing even a Call of Duty for $100. No, not doing that. So, yeah, I think, Yeah, I don't see any other games really. I don't see, like, if you talk about like,
Yeah.
you know, you make a new Fallout or a new Skyrim, even like, what
Right.
are some big games that people, you know?
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like Starfield could have easily came out at $100, and people would have
Yeah.
been that much more upset.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see. I hope that when I keep seeing the headlines that they're just, they're just wrong. But.
Yeah.
All right, another update on a studio. We got some more layoffs going on over at Sony, this time affecting the studio Visual Arts and PS Studios Malaysia. They, unknown number of staff, and they were informed their last day would be March 7th. The layoffs are allegedly widespread, so we don't know how many people, but enough where, you know, it's making the news. And, you know, I haven't even seen any comments from either studio. This information was gathered from certain news outlets based on like LinkedIn reports or a couple of tweets. So it's interesting. It's been pretty much just kind of under the radar. Now it's not a huge, like, Visual Arts basically just does like the art and technical support for games previously. The Last of Us Part 1 and 2. So it wasn't like a big studio, but they were part of, you know, a bigger thing going on with Sony laying off a bunch of people throughout. And I think this is the second time. I think Visual Arts had layoffs maybe like a year or two ago also. So yeah, it's not great over there. I can't imagine the morale throughout. But
no. I wonder if there's any tie-in to generative AI. You know, you can basically replace 5 of your people with the shitty AI version of what they're doing.
Yeah, especially if they're just doing like supporting. You know, they're not the creative
coming
part
up with like
of
concept art and things like that, maybe.
Yeah, it's AI, man. It's crazy. So yeah, nothing else really to report over there. Just wanted to mention that. All right. Second half of the show, it's all about game announcements, baby. The fun stuff. First up, Nacom Connect is it's the showcase of all Nacom's games that they're putting out. I've never really, I'm familiar with the publisher. I didn't know that they had like their own like showcase. I don't know if I've ever watched it before, but this one was interesting. So it was 40 minutes of just games, like 12 games, and a lot of Lovecraftian stuff, horror stuff. But I'm just going to run through them real quick. So there was a few new games that were announced. One of them, Cthulhu: The Cosmic Abyss. It's a first-person psychological thriller. There was no gameplay for this one, but a really awesome, like, just CG story trailer about, like, you getting, like, transferred to, like, this sunken city where Cthulhu is imprisoned. And just the imaging of it, the imagery of the whole thing, it was really, really cool, especially if you're a fan of like Lovecraftian stuff, seeing like the Cthulhu just there. That one was really fantastic looking. And then the other one is called The Mound Omen of Cthulhu, which it's confusing that they're coming out with 2 like Lovecraftian Cthulhu based games.
Right.
But this one is, it's also a horror game, but this is a first-person co-op 4-player horror game, which this one we actually saw some gameplay, and it looks interesting. You and 3 other friends are running around where these like nightmare creatures are just constantly like running at you, and you have to like shoot them or stab them or whatever. It seems like a lot of action as opposed to like, like the paranormal investigative, like haunted house things where it's like all like just real quiet and subtle. This one is just like, it looked bonkers. So could be fun. I went into that one thinking like, I'm not going to play. And then I was like, I could see having fun with this one. Like these weird demons, tentacles everywhere.
So I didn't see the trailer for this. How does Cthulhu come into it? Because aren't they on land?
I don't know.
Like, are you on a boat or? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We're on an island in this one or something. So I did not see Cthulhu in this one. But, maybe he's there. He's a hidden character. And then another Styx game. I don't know. You ever play any of these Styx games?
No.
This is the 3rd in the series.
Oh.
And it's about they came out in like 2010s or whatever. But it was like a stealthy like bandit, and he was real creepy. I never liked them, but they announced a new one. So if you're a fan of stealthy green bandits, today is your day.
If you like Gex the Gecko.
Yeah, but like a R-rated, like mean version of him.
He was pretty R-rated and mean, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I don't remember much about him. And then Rensport is a racing game, like a track racing game. I don't know much about like what style of racing with cars are in that one. And then one of the ones I'm excited for, RoboCop. There's a new RoboCop game. I thought initially when they announced this, I'm like, oh, RoboCop DLC. Nope. This is a standalone sequel to the game. It's called Unfinished Business. So it's just, it's just basically more of that, using like the same assets from the game, and just, they're like, oh, this people liked this one. Let's make more of it. And it's cool. I went to go buy RoboCop. It was on sale for $8.99 on the PlayStation the other day. And I missed it. I missed the sale by one day. I was really, but it's been super cheap everywhere. I saw it for like $5 on Steam the other day, and I was like, no, I want to play this on my PS5, so I'm not going to get it. But I think at that price point, it's going to be on like PlayStation Plus or Game Pass. It's imminent. Yeah, so I'm excited to get through that so I could, get it in this this new version. And then a JRPG called Edge of Memories. This is another in this series. I think like Edge of Eternity was the previous one. Cartoony, classic JRPG vibes on that one. And then The Occultist. It's about a paranormal investigator who, is looking into his father's disappearance. This one, it's your classic, paranormal investigator stuff. Not to be confused with another game that they also announced called The Fading of Nicole Wilson, where you play a teenage paranormal investigator exploring a old like hospital or something. Again, this has the same kind of vibes as like I don't know, a bunch of games. If you've seen this before. It's really nothing new. And that was pretty much it for the new games. Then they showed a new trailer for Hell Is Us and Dragonkin, which is like kind of like a Diablo-esque style of game. Raven's Watch got some new characters. Test Drive Unlimited, Solar Crown got a new season. So yeah, it was a pretty cool event, pretty tight event. Just bunch of trailers. So it was a lot of fun. Anything on there that you were drawn to?
I was actually checking out, one of the first things on there was their the hardware for their simulations.
That's right.
Yeah, the wheel,
Yes,
the gear shift, the clutch
wheel.
pedal. Yeah.
Those look pretty dope.
I know people spend a lot of money on their setups for these types of games, so I really don't know like what's quality and what might be wrong with this, if anything, but it does look pretty cool.
Yeah. If I was like a bachelor and I had like a cool gaming room, I feel like I would have like one of those, and I'd just sit I would just drink and drive all day.
Yeah.
Keep me off the streets. All right. Next up, we got an official announcement for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. So it's official. It's happening sooner than later too. July 11th. It's going to be coming out. This one came from developer Iron Galaxy this time, so different developer, but it looks the same as 1 and 2, the remaster. It looks, very much, what you'd expect from this game. It's got all the content from the originals 3 and 4, but they did show in the trailer a new level water park, which looks dope. You're like skating down the huge slides and stuff like that. All the skaters from the previous ones will be returning, except for one person. Bam Margera was given the axe. Yeah, poor Bam.
He's not going to enough already.
Right? But they will also introduce new skaters. Raisa Leo, Chloe Koval, Jamie Foy, Zion Wright, and Yuto Horigome. What is with names these days, guys? Let's take an aside here. None of these names look like real names. I don't know what's happening. Not that Bam Margera looks like much of a name, but so that's good. You've got all that happening. For me, the biggest thing was, what's the soundtrack going to be? That's the only reason I'm playing these games. And in the trailer, we hear Ace of Spades, so we know we got Motorhead in there. And they did show some of the tracks that have been confirmed. Amoeba by the Adolescents, Mass Appeal by Gangstar, 96 Quite Better Beings by CKY, Not the Same by Body Jar, and Outta Here by KRS-One, which is a new song. So it looks like there's going to be a combination of the older classic songs and some newer ones.
Yeah.
There will be cross-platform online multiplayer for up to 8 players, and a robust version of the Create a Park mode where players can make and share their own custom skate parks. So, yeah, what are your thoughts? You gonna be rocking out on this one?
I didn't play a lot of 4. We talked about this already, like last week or the week before. But seeing the soundtrack actually reminded me how much 3 I did play. But I didn't own it. I played it at the neighbor's house. But
Gotcha.
Just hearing the song titles and thinking like, oh, Amoeba by Adolescents, I know how that song goes, just got me in the headspace of like, I did play a lot of this game and I kind of want to get back into it. 1 and 2 would be more nostalgic for me, and I'm sure the price is better right now, so I could probably wait on an experience like this till it's on sale. But, you know, I'm glad these are coming back. I'm holding out for a Tony Hawk's Underground remake as well, or maybe just a continuation.
Yeah, I think if this one sells well, I think we'll see more of them, if not like an entirely new game. The good news, more good news about this one, it's available day 1 through Game Pass. So if you are a Game Pass subscriber, you don't even have to worry about it. Like, because I was already thinking before this, I was like, do I want to get the new one? I bought the first and second one, and it had that nostalgic hit, but it wasn't something that kept me around for a while. And this is perfect because I don't need to pay for it. I could go in there, get that nostalgia, listen to the soundtrack, and then be done with it for no cost out of pocket at the time. So that's pretty cool.
But it's also coming. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's also coming to PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, X, and S, Nintendo Switch. So it's everywhere.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I just got to cross my fingers that it's going to come to PC Game Pass as part of that, because you never know. They say that it will be on Xbox Game Pass, but you never know like what tier, what
that's a good point.
Version of it.
Yeah, not Game Pass Ultimate or whatever. So yeah, yep. But you can pre-order it now. Standard version's $49.99, and then there's a deluxe edition for $70, and that comes with a bunch of like in-game content. So very cool stuff. And then last up, one more game announcement that I thought was really cool. A game called Absolum. This is the latest game from Dotemu. They are the kings of side-scrolling beat-em-ups. They do like the Metal Slug games, like Streets of Rage. They did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. So all those like retro beat-em-ups. They got a new IP. This one, it looks gorgeous. It's like a roguelike beat-em-up with a classic style, that animated look. And it's like there's a dwarf and then there's a sorceress or something, and you're just fighting like all these things. The combos like within the fighting are pretty intense. You got to chain all these combos together. Everything about it looks great. It's got couch co-op, online co-op. No release date for this one just yet, but it did immediately go on my wish list. I'm excited about that. Anytime they're putting out a new beat 'em up, it's like, hell yeah, dude. They know what they're doing in that genre, and that's one of my favorites from back then, and continued until now. So, did you get a chance to watch that trailer?
I did watch the trailer. I mean, I didn't gain much from it. I'd like to see some gameplay of it, but I mean, no, it features like couch co-op. I'm always down for a good, play there.
Mm-hmm. I did get to see some gameplay. So you know how like if you go into the Steam store or whatever on the game page, there's gameplay going on a lot of times. I did watch some through through there, and it looked awesome. A lot of items to collect and stuff like that, and they showed off more of the roguelike kind of aspect of it, which is really cool because a lot of times it's just that retro kind of, you go through and you play. This one has a little bit more of character building and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm very psyched for that one. All right, and that's all I got written down here. You got anything else?
No, I believe that's it. Oh, actually, you know what day this comes out on?
Sneaky.
Mario Day, March 10th.
Oh, happy Mario Day. Will we get any announcements on Mario Day?
It seems like we probably will. I think they've done it before, so we'll see.
I think so. Yeah, maybe we get a new Mario game announced for the Nintendo Switch 2.
I'm hoping for new alarm tunes on my Alarmo.
Your guess is probably a lot closer than mine. So, yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Or maybe some like new games added to Nintendo Switch Online, something. But cool. Yeah, we'll see. We'll report back on next week's episode. All right. Well, thank you so much for checking out this week's Gaming News Weekly. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. That's where you can get the video version of this game. You can see all the trailers that we just talked about. Comes out every Monday, so make sure you subscribe there. You'll have it ready for you. Same thing on podcasts. Anywhere podcasts are found, just type in GNW, and you will have access to this show. Again, hit subscribe so it's ready to go. You don't got to worry about it. You just hop in your car on Monday, and bam, we're talking about games right in your face. It's a wake up. And that's what you need. You need this sexy voice yelling at you on a Monday morning when you're going into work, and I'm saying, Mario did this. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Forget the coffee. You won't need it. We'll keep you awake.
Exactly. Or we'll put you to sleep. Yeah, what else? Socials. TikTok. Yeah, that's a thing. And then Blue Sky, also a thing. And we're both on those things. So check us out there. And that's all I got. Any shout-outs, dude? We're doing shout-outs now.
Shout out Monster Energy for keeping me awake through this.
Atta boy. I know, this daylight savings is bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. That's all. We're out of here. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.